Visvesvaraya Technological University, or VTU, is one of Karnataka's central institutions for technical education. Its decisions affect students across affiliated engineering institutions. Today, VTU's official website lists Drive S. Vidyashankar as Vice-Chancellor, with Dr. Prasad B. Rampur as Registrar, Dr. Ujwal U.J. as Registrar, Evaluation, and Dr. Prashanta Naikaji as Finance Officer. But this documentary isn't about whether VTU is good or bad. It is about power and accountability. Because the larger an institution becomes, the more important its internal controls become. Who approves spending? Who appoints senior officials? Who supervises examinations? Who approves internships? And when someone makes an allegation, who investigates it? Let's go back to 2019. On January 20th, 2019, Deccan Herald reported that Karnataka Governor Vajpayee Rudabhai Vala had ordered an inquiry into alleged irregularities of approximately 200 Indian rupees crore VU. The complaint had been made by parents of two VTU students against then Registrar H.N. Jagannath Reddy. The complaint alleged financial irregularities and also alleged that Reddy had accumulated assets worth at least 200 Indian rupees crore. Reddy denied the allegations. That distinction matters. The 200 Indian rupees crore figure was the subject of an allegation. It was not, by itself, proof that 200 Indian rupees crore had been stolen from VTU. The governor initially asked VTU's Vice-Chancellor for a report. The report was considered unsatisfactory, according to the report published by Deccan Herald. A retired district and sessions judge, D.S. Shinde, was then appointed to inquire into the matter. And then something much more significant happened. The issue moved from newspaper allegations into an actual disciplinary process. A Karnataka High Court judgment records that the inquiry officer submitted a report on February 13, 2019, finding a prima facie case against Reddy. Following that, the Chancellor directed a regular departmental inquiry. Reddy was suspended on February 15, 2019. Charges were communicated on March 7, 2019, and the charges were not limited to one financial number. The court record lists allegations including manipulation of transfer orders, failure to submit annual assets and liability statements, functioning from Bengaluru instead of Belagavi, and allegations concerning a local inspection team, and an alleged demand for 25 Indian rupees lakh. These were charges in disciplinary proceedings, not findings that every allegation had been proved. In April 2019, a single judge had temporarily stayed the suspension and charge sheet. But on May 31, 2019, a division bench of the Karnataka High Court set aside that interim order. The court held that Reddy should participate in the departmental inquiry rather than having the charges stopped at that stage. This is where an honest documentary has to slow down, because there are two completely different claims. Claim 1, there were serious allegations, a governor-directed inquiry, a prima facie finding, and disciplinary proceedings. That is documented. Claim 2, VTU officials stole 200 Indian rupees crore. That requires proof of the theft itself. The sources we have do not justify presenting that second claim as an established fact. And here's another detail many social media versions of this story leave out. The legal dispute did not simply disappear after 2019. A 2023 Karnataka High Court judgment concerning Reddy records that an inquiry report dated December 30th, 2019 existed and that disciplinary proceedings continued. But the 2023 case raised a different legal issue. Whether VTU had jurisdiction to discipline Reddy because he had been appointed as registrar on deputation from his parent institution. The court examined the VTU Act and concluded that the statutory framework did not provide for appointment of the registrar on deputation in the manner used. That's a crucial lesson. A case can contain allegations of misconduct, while the courts separately examine whether the institution followed the correct legal process to punish the person accused. Those are two different questions. 3 years later, another controversy emerged. September 2022, VTU Vice-Chancellor Dr. was approaching the end of his tenure. A governor's circular dated September 28, 2021 instructed university vice-chancellors not to take major policy decisions when their tenure was within 2 months of ending, according to reporting by the Indian Express. Then came questions over money. According to the Indian Express, Karnataka allowed the release of 20 Indian rupees crore as the second tranche of funds for developmental works at a university in Mysore. And in August 2022, VTU had also approved 86.10 Indian rupees crore for its postgraduate centers in Belagavi, Kalaburaji, Mysore, and Madanahalli. Then came another figure. Advocates who complained to the Karnataka Lokayukta said they had documents relating to 35 Indian rupees crore released around the end of the tenure and were seeking details of another roughly 40 Indian rupees crore in bills. On September 20th, 2022, 2 High Court advocates filed a complaint with the Karnataka Lokayukta against Karnataka and Registrar Anand Deshpande. Their allegation? That large financial decisions were being taken too close to the end of the vice-chancellor's term, and that government norms have been violated. But VTU rejected the allegation. The university said the payments were for ongoing projects and routine expenses, had been approved by its executive council, and did not constitute new policy decisions. VTU said its actions were in accordance with the governor's order. So what do we know? We know the money was released. We know complaints were filed. We know specific rules were cited. And we know VTU disputed the accusation. What we should not say without further evidence is, VTU stole 86 Indian rupees crore. That is not what these records establish. But the 2022 controversy didn't stop with money. The appointment of VTU's next vice-chancellor also became controversial. A search committee was constituted on August 10th, 2022. It eventually shortlisted 3 candidates. Anand Deshpande, then VTU Registrar, Gopal Mujuraya, Director of NIT Goa, and S. Vidyashankar, then Vice-Chancellor of Karnataka State Open University. On September 29, 2022, the Chancellor appointed S. Vidyashankar as VTU Vice-Chancellor. 2 petitions challenged the appointment. Among the arguments were claims concerning the composition of the search committee, qualifications, and the suitability of the appointee. But here's where the story gets interesting. In November 2023, the Karnataka High Court dismissed those petitions. But it did something very important. The court said it was not expressing an opinion on the regularity or otherwise of the entire proceedings that culminated in the appointment. Instead, the petitions failed because the court found serious problems with the petitioners' bona fides and disclosure of their own litigation histories. That distinction is extremely important. The court did not conduct a full merits determination, declaring every allegation against the appointment false. It dismissed the petitions on the grounds explained in its judgment and explicitly left the underlying regularity question open. Now we arrive at the most current part of the story. 2026. VTU introduced a centralized internship system. VTU's own website shows internship registration through its portal and issued multiple internship-related circulars in late 2025 and early 2026. The stated idea was straightforward: create a more structured system for internships and reduce fraudulent or meaningless internship claims. In January 2026, the Karnataka Technical Training Institutes Association alleged that the approval process was opaque and overly centralized. The association also alleged that the portal had been developed by a private company linked to a former VTU Executive Council member and questioned the transparency of the tendering process. It further alleged preferential treatment toward one private training organization. These claims should not be presented as established corruption. They are allegations that require documentary verification. But then something else happened. VTU's internship verification system started detecting suspicious submissions. According to the Indian Express, around 82,000 engineering students had registered with roughly 14,000 companies for internships beginning February 2nd, 2026. During location verification, VTU found supposed internship locations that included a gym, a bar, a salon at a location associated with a supposed Danish technology company, and even vacant land. A VTU official told the newspaper that companies would be blacklisted and students would be summoned to correct their submissions. This creates a fascinating contradiction. On one side, there are allegations that VTU's centralized internship system lacks transparency. On the other side, that same centralized system was being used to detect fake or suspicious internship claims. Both things can be true at the same time. A system can be useful and still require stronger transparency. And this is where our investigation should become more demanding. If a university creates a centralized platform that effectively controls how thousands of students access internships, several questions become legitimate. Who built the platform? How was the vendor selected? Was there a tender? Who approved it? What was the contract value? What commission structure exists? Who owns the intellectual property? Are students free to choose legitimate internships outside the platform? And are all companies judged using the same criteria? These are not accusations. They are accountability questions. The Times of India reported that the association specifically questioned the portal's governance and alleged that the private firm involved had a link to a former executive council member. It also reported allegations about delays, preferential approvals, and financial concerns. The university's actual procurement documents, contracts, and approval records are therefore critical. If those documents demonstrate a transparent, competitive process, that answers one set of questions. If they reveal something else, then the investigation goes deeper. And now we return to the issue every VTU student knows. Examinations. VTU's 2024 examination manual describes a digital valuation process. Answer scripts are scanned and processed digitally, with student identity separated from the valuation workflow. The manual also states that valuation software records the time taken for each answer book and enforces a minimum 3-minute valuation time, while noting that a typical answer book takes around 4 minutes to evaluate. The system also requires evaluators to assign marks to attempted sub-questions and records the valuation process. So when a student says, "My marks changed completely after revaluation," that deserves investigation, but it doesn't automatically prove corruption. It can also expose a basic problem with human evaluation. Two evaluators can interpret an answer differently. The real question is whether VTU has enough safeguards to detect and correct those differences consistently. And now we can see the bigger picture. The controversies we've examined are not identical. The 2019 matter involved allegations against a registrar and a governor-directed inquiry. The 2022 controversy involved financial releases near the end of a vice-chancellor's tenure. The 2022 VC appointment generated litigation. The 2026 internship controversy involves questions about a centralized platform and alleged private sector links. The 2026 internship verification story also shows students attempting to submit questionable internship information. These events should not be combined into one giant accusation. They involve different people, different dates, different evidence, different outcomes. But together, they raise a bigger question. How transparent should a university be when it controls so much of a student's academic life? Fact number 1. In 2019, allegations involving approximately 200 Indian rupees, Crore, led to a governor-directed inquiry, and a preliminary inquiry found a prima facie case against then Registrar H.N. Jagannath Reddy. Disciplinary proceedings followed. Fact number 2. In 2022, complaints were filed concerning financial releases during the final period of Vice-Chancellor Karnataka's tenure. VTU denied wrongdoing and said the payments related to ongoing projects and routine expenses approved by the Executive Council. Fact number 3. The 2022 appointment of S. Vidyashankar as VTU Vice-Chancellor was challenged in court, but the Karnataka High Court dismissed the petitions in 2023 and expressly did not decide the overall regularity of the appointment on merits. Fact number 4. In 2026, VTU's internship verification system identified suspicious internship locations, including bars, gyms, and vacant land, according to the Indian Express. The internship portal was developed through an opaque process and favored a particular private organization. Those claims were reported as allegations by an association and should not be presented as established corruption. That VTU as an institution deliberately failed students to collect revaluation fees. That VTU stole 200 Indian rupees crore. That the 2022 financial releases were proven to be corruption. Or that the 2026 internship portal allegations amount to proven criminal wrongdoing. So, after all of this, is VTU a scam? That's not a question we should answer with a thumbnail. It's a question we should answer with evidence. And the evidence tells us something more complicated. There have been serious allegations. There have been official inquiries. There have been disciplinary proceedings. There have been complaints before the Lokayukta. There have been court cases. There have been controversies surrounding money, appointments, and internships. And there have also been cases where VTU has defended its decisions and said they were lawful, approved, and part of ongoing work. That doesn't mean every accusation is true, and it doesn't mean every accusation is false. It means the public record deserves to be examined. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson here. Institutions don't become trustworthy because people stop questioning them. They become trustworthy when their answers survive scrutiny. So if you're a VTU student, don't blindly believe someone saying, VTU is corrupt. And don't blindly believe someone saying, there is nothing wrong. Ask, where's the document? Where's the order? Where's the inquiry? What did the court actually say? What did VTU actually respond? Because the truth doesn't need exaggeration. The documents are powerful enough.